had 100 more, he would have folded.
Yeah.
I've never folded that hand in my life.
That's the point, Eric.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I make fun of people who fold that shit.
Call 5.
And Francisco, after losing that pot, is going to limp in. It looks like he rebought to 16,000. So buying in for a little bit more than he lost. So a double up would put him in the black. And Nick Vertucci, first hand I've seen him play here since sitting down, gets the 3-bet in with 7-6 suited.
What do you think he's got? Is either queens or aces?
So we have a limp, a raise from Crazy Dave with pocket 8s, and a 3-bet from Nick. And both limpers going to come along. Francisco limping and then calling a 3-bet cold with Jack 7. Jack 5-4, 2 diamonds. On the flop, open-ended for Nick, the pre-flop aggressor. Top pair for Francisco. Middle pair for John.
Bet 700.
So we're playing the slow roll game.
How good does Aaron run on the show?
And Nick is going to continuation bet with his straight draw. And Francisco is going to come along.
So glad I would have been a different person.
Oof. Nuts on the turn for Nick. And a gut shot picked up by Francisco. Right after losing that big pot, this is tough for Francisco.
Check.
I mean, she's so...
And the turn goes check, check. Nick getting very tricky, checking back the nuts on the turn and a blank on the river.
Do you really breed French bulldogs?
Poodles. Yeah, I do actually.
Really?
Do you really? French bulldogs. French bulldogs, yeah.
3,000?
Bet 3,000.
And Nick is going to overbet the pot after checking back the turn.
Mine and my wife's.
A
what do you feed them?
somewhat unusual line for versus standard, and Francisco does not take much time at all and pays it off. Doesn't really know what Nick is repping, and Nick turns over the nuts. And Nick is going to win an $8,600 pot.
Or she win again?
Joe H asks who calls themselves big time.
What's that?
I don't know of anyone who calls themselves big time.
There was 3.
This guy is huge time.
I can't recall single big pot that I lost. Someone can please enlighten me.
I lost a lot of big pots.
Enlighten me. Give me one big pot.
You said when I first started playing.
You remember when Bart Hansen called me down last week with aces?
Well, that was Bart though. But that's just Bart's to go.
That was a big one.
That was a 16. $20,000 pot. Yeah, that was a lot of big pots.
I don't know if you're ever folding there.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fold aces.
Really? Not to me.
Yeah, I'll fold aces too.
I kind of in the hand because I had to push so bad.
I don't know how he knew that you had the hand. A limped pot developing. However, Eric is going to end that with King Jack suited here. Looks like he makes it 100.
I thought I had to go before the river card even came out.
You made your hand on the river?
Yeah. It's because I sweat it on the turn. That's why.
Sick.
I thought I was going to lose the hand. I just wanted to do it. I checked out.
What do you hit? Like a gut shot or something?
I had a pair and a straight draw. I hit the straight.
Gutty?
You went to muck and then you're like, wait a minute.
But I was struck
7 figures.
The main pot was still pretty nice. 10K.
7 players?
Yeah.
Wow, check.
Check.
Nick says 7 players incredulously before checking with top pair.
Bet 110.
Yeah, that was a pretty he and Huge Time both flopping top pair here. Nick's kicker is best, however. Eric, the pre-flop aggressor, with backdoor straight flush draw, is going to call. After Huge Time bets it, Nick checks and calls it. 3 ways to the turn.
Who's it to?
Check.
And Nick goes ahead and checks this 9 on the turn. Nick picks up a gut shot with this card.
500.
Eric picks up a double gutter, and Huge Time adds an open ender to go with his top pair. So 2 players with top pair. Also, each one of them has a straight draw of sorts, and Eric has 2 straight draws.
I get a steak and eggs. New York, yeah. Medium rare.
An 8 would chop the spot between Eric
over easy.
and Nick.
No potatoes and.
Eric's going to give up his double gut shot here. So it was a half-size
Cutting up for a show,
pop bet
cutting a show.
from Huge Time here on the turn.
What's that? I'm sorry, sir. Tomatoes are a good idea. I like where your head's at. A1 and Tabasco and 2 iced teas with extra ice. Shit, Big Tom's got a 7.
You would call me that, dude.
Big Tom's got a 7, man. All right,
Never,
one more time.
you never have a 7.
Yeah, you'd have 7. That's all right. You're a liar. You're not supposed to lie. You're supposed to say that.
Lying, dude, I can't.
And an 8 on the river means Eric and Nick would have chopped this pot. Instead, Nick makes the best hand with a straight. Huge Time picks up 2 pair, but it's no good. And Nick goes out
Did you say one more time?
And-
Because you're going to hit a flush?
over bets this river. The flush got there as well. So what a bad river card for Huge Time. However, there's not a lot he can beat here. This is an over bet here on the river as well.
7. With an 8.
Yeah, he's 10.
Neither. That's so big. I have a 6.
Huge Time says he has a 6,
Your jacks.
trying to get a reaction out of Nick.
God, let me say it one more time. I don't have a 6, I would have called you. You muck.
I thought you meant if I have a 6, I would have called you. I thought you were folding.
I'm still in the tank.
Fair enough.
30 more seconds. You have it.
Nick started pushing his hand into the middle there. I think he thought that Huge Time had folded.
Wish you could have ace 10. That's such a bad card to show me.
And Huge
10,
Time
7.
asks to see a card.
That's
That'd be a bitch.
disgusting.
And Nick goes ahead and shows him a 10.
Just for the record, I'm always open for you guys.
You open?
Yeah, I'm open.
We don't know that.
I just wanted
That's pretty gross, right?
Fucking sick.
So Nick has shown a 10 in this hand.
What if we have the same hand? Look at that pawn. I doubt we have the same.
I really don't know.
You have ace 10?
Ace 10's good. Is ace 10 good?
No.
Not asking if Nick's hand is supposed to be dead because it passed the line. The betting line is not the muck. The cards definitely did not hit the muck. So his hand is definitely still alive.
No, throw it away. Throw it away. Call, throw it away. Raise, whatever.
How much is it?
24.
Is this all like a show, so you're gonna raise? Is that what's happening?
No, dude, I'm just really thinking
Oh.
I should call it.
Okay, great.
Here, 9.
Check. Yep.
And Huge Time puts the money in.
He does have ace 10.
And Nick is going to win a
That river kills you.
$100 pot.
Sorry, big time.
And Nick is on a tear, up over $20,000, I think, now in this game. Maybe not quite that, but up over $18,000 or $19,000 in the game now. He is crushing this 5-5 ante game.
Still gotta play.
Who invited Nick?
Thanks, man.
Nick up 16,500. I thought he was up more than that. I guess he lost a pot recently.
Looks like we got a new guy coming every Tuesday.
He lost that bluff
Is this what
that
you guys
did
play
not
every
go
Tuesday?
correctly, where Eric called him, so
Well, I
I
mean,
got the number a little bit off there, but he is still up $16,000. Biggest winner by far so far tonight.
And John takes that one down. Nick already up almost 5,000, over 4,000. He started the day with 20,000, and before the stream won a few thousand, and then he's up a little bit more on the stream right now. So we have him up 1,400 on the stream, but for the day he's up pretty much 5K at this point. Crushing this game. Last week he won about 20,000. Conquer said, any chance of a high stakes ante game coming up? Yeah, I mean, we're still considering it. I still would like to do it at some point, a $25 ante game. I think that would be really fun. Maybe a $20 ante game would be more reasonable.
We could put it all over Match.com and stuff for you. Like, whatever you need.
I gotta see this picture.
But definitely something we'll do at some point. Lee's making his predictions in the chat. He says he's got Eric Hicks upsetting Dan Zack in the first round. That will be a fun matchup, one of the future ones for sure. Mr. Huza said, Nick, legitimately the second best player at the table. So we got Chris 3-betting with 9-5 of diamonds. You see Chris playing any two cards. A lot of action. And he's going to 3-bet Nick, who has pocket sevens. Or, sorry, he's going to 3-bet David, who has 8-9 suited. Nick cold calls pocket sevens. And middle set for Nick, a gutter and backdoor flush draw for Chris. An open ender for David. We got action. And Nick puts in just the call. And that's going to invite David in. And the 6 of diamonds on the turn gives Chris a flush draw to go along with his gutter. And it gives Nick a full house. Wow. What a card. Chris drawing dead. And he's going to take a stab at this one.
It's just a friendly, right?
A big bet from Chris on the turn. With 9 high, putting in a huge bet, nearly pot. 1,800 on a draw. Trying to get these guys off it. A big bet by Chris. And Nick is going to lay the trap, makes the call again. So from Chris's perspective, Nick can definitely just have a bunch of King X here. Maybe some spade draws. The river's the ace of diamonds. Wow. And Chris rivers a flush. But Nick has a full house. And I would not be surprised to see all the money pile in here.
There's no NFL. It's Tuesday.
And Chris feels like he just got there on this river. Feels like he's always winning this hand. He's going to be shocked when he finds out he didn't win this one.
Yeah.
Chris can show up with a wide range of hands here. 3-bets 9-5 suited. Triple barrels it, gets to the river, and shows up with a 9-high flush. This is pretty much the nuts for him.
And also,
It's hard for him to put Nick on pocket sevens.
I mean, I'm not going to.
Oh, no, it's okay. Take your time. I just don't want to sit there and...
Excuse me. Yeah, yeah.
What happened? I wouldn't have used those two.
Just like a couple big favorites lost, so the survivor pool was just.
New Orleans is the big one.
Yeah, yeah. Green Bay almost lost. Then it would have been like a massacre. It would have been like 80%.
I guess Pitt was probably pretty big.
No, no. They were only 3 points by the time. Yeah, but you usually lose if you tie, so.
So good at this.
And a huge bet from Chris. 3,600. 3,600 from Chris and a snap all in from Nick. A snap all in from Nick after a bet of 3,600 from Chris. Nick didn't even think about it.
I always do this stuff to myself too. I bet 35.90 went all in. I have 2,000 behind. All right. This cannot be let go. Oh, yeah. Here, I'll give you big chips.
Backdoor diamond.
And an $18,000 pot goes to Nick Vertucci. Won 20K last week in this game. He's up about 11K now on the stream in 40 minutes, plus the 3K or 4K that he won before the stream. The guy's up like 30-something thousand in 2 Tuesday shows so far. Unbelievable.